This week on Gymwright Live, we teach you how to successfully run a free friends and family week at your gym. Check it out. All right. Hello. It is Friday. It's another beautiful day. And today we are going to be walking you through how to successfully plan, promote, and execute a free friends and family week at your gym. So let's talk a little bit about what this is, Free Friends and Family Week, exactly what it sounds. This is where you plan a week free trial for any active members at your gym to bring in friends and family to basically train alongside them, have a great time, experience your gym, the atmosphere, and all that firsthand directly. And then your goal is to obviously build relationships with these people, show them a great time, and convert these into members. Now, the reason why this is such a powerful tool when used correctly is, as we know, referrals are the highest quality leads that we can get at our gyms, right? So there's really no one better. They're qualified. We already have someone helping promote them. This is not a cold lead. So by inviting your members to bring their friends and family members in to experience this stuff, it is a very powerful way to kind of access their social circles of influence, if you will. So the trick to doing this is not doing them all the time. Oftentimes when I've mentioned this to people, or, it's been something we've talked about in the past, that people will start running them constantly, and that completely devalues it. Don't do that. You want to make sure you are strategic when you do this. My suggestion is to only do this a couple times a year, maybe once or twice tops, so that it is something that still has that exclusivity. It's rare. And that way people don't get numb to it. You don't want people to think this is something they can just do all the time. So on that note, let's talk a little bit about how this whole thing works. So there's a couple things to consider. So I'm going to walk you through all the different elements that go into making this thing or putting one of these things together, and all the things to consider. And then I'm going to walk you through an ideal flow of how I would execute this, right? So I'll give you just a sample scenario, if you will. Remember, we do have a live Q&A. So if you're watching this live, simply start putting questions into the comments below, and I'm happy to answer them for you after we get through the core content. And if you're watching this after the fact, so not live, again, just put your comments, put your questions in the comments, tag me, Markus Gerszi, in the question, and I'm happy to answer for you after the fact. So, all right. So first thing to consider, let's talk about planning this thing. So for one, we want to make sure we have an offer ready to go. And this really can just also be your refer a friend offer. Sometimes you can make that offer a little juicier specifically for these to encourage members to take advantage of it. But at the end of the day, you can have a simple refer a friend deal in place. And an example of that would be, give $100 towards a friend's first month. If they sign up, then you as the member get $100. That's the give 100, get 100 as an example. Change the dollar amount, doesn't matter. If you're a Gymwright client, you should already have this offer dialed in as your evergreen refer a friend offer. And if not, then I guess I need to do an episode on that soon. All right. So once we've defined what the offer is going to be that we're going to make to people at the end of this thing to convert, to help nudge them over the line, we want to make sure we have all of our processes and systems defined. Okay. So this should not just be a haphazard, like, hey, for the week, bring your friends and family in. We need to make sure we have all these key boxes checked. So number one, we want to have a place for these people to register prior to coming in. That way you can anticipate the volume of people that are coming in. Not to mention you want to capture everyone's info. Do not run one of these and just let people come and go. You have to capture their information, let alone sign a safety waiver. So having a basic landing page or even Google form that you provide for your members to invite people through is going to be key. Make sure that if you do build a landing page, that you keep it fun and easy looking, no intimidating stuff here, no big heavy pictures. Show pictures of people working out together and smiling, high-fiving, that sort of thing. leads form fields to capture is going to be name, email, mobile phone. You can even have them like select a goal. My goal is to, lose weight, improve competitive performance, increase quality of life, etc. Keep it really simple though. And also, just as a side note, assume that people will also show up. Despite your best efforts to say, hey, everyone's got to register ahead of time, your members will still just bring people in, or people will just basically be walking in and showing up for classes. So be prepared. I always like to have an iPad or a computer ready with this same form right there for them to fill out when they walk in, so that we can make sure everyone goes through the same funnel. You don't want some people on the form, some people not on the form. Everything should be routing to the same common place. All right, so once we have our lead capture information, we want to have our communication strategy. And this is also kind of like your value add strategy. So think of this as the content that you're going to send people once they've registered. So for one, when they register, you can have just a basic registration or welcome email. In this, you can include what to expect, location, and a link to map and directions, and a link to your waiver. That way people can be filling these things out before they even come in for their first date, as well as instructions to, show up 15 minutes early, come dressed ready for a workout, comfortable clothes, that whole song and dance. Same stuff you'd send to a potential new member. Then a post day one email is always a good one to have too. This is where you can give them tips for, hydration and recovery, encouraging them also to, attend as much during the week as possible. And I also like to include a link to meet the coaches. By the way, if you have a video for meeting the coaches or videos of your coaches doing a bio or something like that, these go over really well. Good place to put it. Then I would line up a personal check-in from the coach after day one. So this isn't the kind of thing where we just have people come in and go and hopefully you have a good time and hopefully you sign up. You have to really treat this like this is a very focused lead opportunity for you to convert these people. So make sure each and every person who comes into this thing is getting the same kind of love as a lead would any other time of the year, right? So they come in for their first day. Coach calls them, hey, want to see how your experience was the first day. How you feeling? Make sure you're drinking water. Awesome. Hey, are you already registered for your next class? Looking forward to seeing you tonight. That whole song and dance. Short and sweet, goes a really long way. Personal touch. Then I like to tee up the offer email 2 days before the week ends. So if, let's say, it's a Monday through Sunday offer, on Friday is when I would send out the offer email, basically saying, hey, if you're interested, we'd love to have you continue your journey with us. And in this one is where I would like to include testimonials so that we can have some social proof right when they start seeing the offers. And then I would also do a phone call on the last day to follow up to see how their experience was and if they'd like to continue moving forward. And after that, once the week is done, you want to make sure you have a follow-up protocol, basically just like anyone who said would have come in for an intro session, that we are following up with these people after the fact to basically try to close them. 3 good attempts of communication at that point, put them into a long-term nurture or into an email newsletter, something like that, so that they don't just evaporate. All right. So basic communication strategy is set up. Next, we want to tell members also to make sure that they are telling friends and family to show up 15 minutes prior to class. And this is where we want to have our kind of like welcoming party, if you will, ready. So obviously you may already have regular classes running. Ideally, you would have a second staff member or yourself or someone else there to basically greet and welcome people as they're showing up. You may want to do this just on the first maybe 3 days of the week, so that as people are showing up for the first time, there's somebody there to welcome them, introduce themselves, and to make sure that they complete the registration info if they haven't already. And again, this is where you're going to make sure they have the waiver signed, that they have their basic info in that lead capture form, whatever you're using. And you can also, ask them about any injuries or limitations that you need to know about before we get started. So have your welcome party and plan ready first few days. Ideally, if you could have someone there every day, even better, but first few days is key. Next, let's talk about the programming. This is key. Okay, so the programming should be fun, simple and doable by a first timer every day, while also still being challenging for existing members, right? So we got to kind of get a little best of both worlds. The trick to this is doing things like partner warm-ups and team workouts and partner cool downs. Make sure everyone is mingling, everyone is engaging, everyone is having a good time. These classes have to be fun. And you want to make sure don't do all of them every single day. It's not partner, but weave these things throughout the week. And this can also be positioned to your members, by the way, if you're really doing the pro approach to this. You would time this after doing something like a strength cycle so that people are coming off of this. You can kind of sell your members on the idea of, hey, this is going to be a recovery week. And that way it's just fun, it's loose. And that's why we have friends and family tied in with this. It creates a much more well-rounded picture to them as to why we would change the programming up. Not that you don't want your members resenting this week whenever it pops up because they're like, oh, great, we're just going to do a bunch of BS workouts. Still needs to be challenging, but keep it simple, keep it digestible for someone who's coming in, keep the movement simple, right? So don't be doing, snatch balances and Turkish get-ups on their first day. All right. Promotion. So obviously, if we're doing anything, we want to make sure we are promoting it adequately. This is where a lot of people drop the ball. Make sure you promote it in the prior month's newsletter. Remind them that the Refer a Friend program applies and that there's no limit to how many people you can bring in. On the whiteboard, at least 2 weeks out, put it up. Have your coaches talk about it in the beginning of class, every class. Make sure everyone is on the same page. In your private Facebook group, make sure it's posted in there more than once. And if you really want to be guerrilla about it, send a personal text message to the top 25 members that you would like more of at your gym, basically your brand heroes, asking them who they are going to bring to the Free Friends and Family Week. This is key. This is just like when you host an event and you want to make sure your influencers are there. You are also sending them a personal check-in or asking them personally and before or after class to get them to engage. This is key. Okay. So next, let's talk about timing. Timing of these things is also really important. You don't just want to plop this in, especially not when it's like a down time of year and you're struggling and people are not very engaged as it is. Ideally, you want to do this after a large wave of new members have just come into your community. So this could be post, let's say the New Year's rush, or if you host quarterly or regular, 6-week challenges or something like that as a secondary batch intake system, then timing it after a good group of those has come in about a month afterwards is going to be really, really good. So, and I'll explain more as I kind of walk you through the ideal sample flow. All right, so let's get right into that. So this is an example of ideally how everything would line up. Now, this is making some assumptions that you are running a great gym and people are engaging and you're doing a lot of the best practices as it is. If not, this may shed some light on those things. Either way, here we go. So we just had a new wave of members complete a 6-week challenge or, the New Year's rush. So by the way, right now, so it's April 2018, April 13th. If you are doing, your Gymwright Perceived Value Builder system every month and you just had a good rush of people, right now is actually a very good time to run this, hence the timing of this show. Anyway, so you just had a large new wave of people come in and it's about, 2 months or so after they actually got started. So they've gotten a chance to get in, get integrated, start falling in love. You're making them feel the love. They're feeling welcome. Your members are just finishing up a strength cycle. Again, that way they're okay with the whole deloaded week of programming. Pitch it as a recovery week. And again, you've been running the Gymwright Perceived Value Builder system all of these 3 months, right? So we've had new people come in. We're getting into month 3 of their membership at your gym. And if you're not familiar with the Gymwright Perceived Value Builder system is, go ahead and check out the episode we did November 3rd. I forget the episode number, but right here in the network, check out the episode Gymwright Perceived Value Builder System. And we'll walk you through this. It is an extremely simple but powerful way to increase retention, engagement. It's killer. Look it up. But the reason we want to do this and the art of the timing in this with the Perceived Value Builder system is we want to make sure that everyone's feeling the love and their perceived value of the gym is as high as possible. And you want to make sure these newbies who just came into this wave are engaging in these activities, right? One of which is going to be your social event. You want to time the social event as the 3rd month. right? So maybe month one was a training or a facility upgrade. You guys redid the community lounge area. Month two, you did let's say you hosted a workshop and you did something that was new member friendly. So something like a double under workshop or something like that, running clinic, something that everyone can participate in, row clinic, that kind of deal. And then month three, you host a killer social event. And I always use the bowling night example in the way that I teach the perceived value builder system, but make sure it's really fun and that your newbies are all invited to this, and make sure everyone knows to bring friends and family to this event, because you want to give them a little bit of exposure to you guys and what you're doing before you make this offer. Okay, so we're in month three, social event is about to happen, and you roll out that you're going to be doing the free friends and family week the following month in month four. And so month three, you have this party. You just announced that you're going to be doing free friends and family. That way, when you do the event, let's say you do the bowling night, anyone who comes to that, you can say, hey, by the way, we're going to be doing a free friends and family week in a couple of weeks. If you're interested, Tony can give you the link and get you registered. I'd love to have you in there. You can experience what we're about. This is extremely effective in getting some of those people to engage and start building that excitement around the event, and so that you're adequately promoting. So, and by the way, make sure that you're properly promoting each one of these Gymwright Perceived Value Builder systems as we go. That's also in that episode where we do pre, post, intra. And all right, so we host the event. We invite a bunch of people to it. A couple weeks later is when this Free Friends and Family Week begins. And this is where then between that social event and between that Free Friends and Family Week starting, we have the 2 weeks of now it's on the board. You're talking about it at the beginning of class. People come in during the week when it's happening, have lots of good social activity. You're taking pictures of members with their friends. Very key. Tag both of them in the post if possible. Make sure you're celebrating people working out together, and so on. Also a good time to publish an article on, community and the value of training together and families that train together, et cetera, et cetera. And there you have it. So if you're watching this and you have any questions in particular, feel free to put them into the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you now. And again, if you are watching this after the fact and you want to just put them into the comments, tag me, I'll answer them for you. So let's see if we have anything coming through here. All right. All right, guys. Well, again, if you're watching this after the fact, put your questions into the comments, tag me in it. I'm happy to answer them for you. And be sure to tune in next week. And hopefully this thing works out for you, by the way. This is, again, good timing is right now. Another good time would be right before or right towards the end of summer before back to school hits. That way people are still in kind of summer party mode. You do your summer barbecue party, do your Free Friends and Family Week. Good timing. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. Let us know if you have any questions, and wish you the best. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.